back to the Capital Mindset Show. Today's going to be a portfolio update. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I do these sometimes here and there, depending on if there are any interesting moves that I might have made or, just for the sake of transparency. And I do have a portfolio that is publicly available. And when I say publicly, I don't mean like other, people say it, that, it's public, but you have to pay, or this is public. So you can quite literally go, anyone can see it. And it's organized in such a way that's fairly easy to understand. There are some changes I'm going to be making, and based on some consultations with some legal experts, there are some gray areas that I have to consider going forward, and I'll talk about that later in this video. Okay, so we're going to begin with, again, looking at this portfolio, kind of going over some of the changes and a quick thought process of each company. So over the shorter term, we have made some interesting investments earlier this year, later at the end of last year. And, it was a lot of exposure to the material space, and they have actually performed fairly well. So we have LYB that's performed pretty well. Then we have Rio Tinto's performed moderate. Cardinal Health has performed very well. That was a very, very interesting one. And again, I have here whether or not there's long-term or short-term gains. So the shorter term, and some of these were discussed in their own video. Some of them, unfortunately, haven't gotten their own video just yet. And stuff like AbbVie, for example, has been quite a long time, not a long time, but it's been in the portfolio for a bit now. And I haven't made a video on AbbVie, and even though it was requested, I will make a video. Do not worry, fret not. Sorry. The issue with making videos on past investments is trying to figure out a way that it can provide value to the viewer, right? Because it's not just patting yourself on the back and saying, oh, look how great I've done. No, it has to be for a reason. So for example, the oil trade, even though that was a past one, there was a lesson to be derived in form of understanding the commodities market and how sometimes you will have opportunities to play that if you execute well. And in this instance, it was actually executed decently, right? Because I did have investments in Occidental Petroleum that did really well, but I sold in hindsight too early. And in fact, the Occidental Petroleum position would have done really well had I just held on. I would think I would have made over 600% in that, right? And of course, this portfolio does not show the options holdings. I won't actually show the options holdings. The options holdings aren't even that big of a position. But the options holdings for the oil trade has performed fairly well. I'll just say that. But aside from that, let's stick to this. Some of the other things, I've been, again, selling some Honeywell a little bit more aggressively here. And you might have noticed that some of the percentages are different since the last video, obviously, because things have changed. And then we have some new positions that I'll get to in a sec. But again, for the most part, I'm selling off a lot of the commodities. BHP has performed really well. I'm very happy with BP. BHP, not BP. And again, ConocoPhillips is still in the selling. So BHP is now on the selling block. Rio Tinto got moved to the holding block. Cardinal Health is still a holding. LYB is accumulating but slowing down. Molson Coors is finally doing decently well. It's at 14.93%. It's actually approaching the long-term hold, as in over 1 year. So Unum's done really well. Unum is also, it's actually already at a long-term hold. So if I sold today, it's long-term capital gains, but Unum's done really, really well. So again, for the most part, all the gains is just on the capital gains. I actually do not consider dividends reinvested. Okay, so dividends reinvested are not considered in the gains. That's just the capital appreciation. However, it's actually to my detriment. I am a little bit more conservative in how I determine the gains. Okay, because it's still increasing its weighting over time as the dividends get reinvested. And then that might affect the average cost over time, but it doesn't affect actually the gain. Okay, just so everyone understands that, by the way. I've mentioned that before in previous videos, and I mentioned that more clearly in the very first video when I first launched this, to kind of lay down the groundwork of how everything works. Okay, now looking over here to Markel. Markel's performed really well. Brookfield Asset Management, by the way, was sold. Completely gone, no longer in the portfolio. And that actually segues into this next point. All the positions that I have and are now gone, as in I sold them all, they're going to remain in the portfolio to kind of showcase, again, all the ones that were public. I'm not going to go back in all my past and show all the things I've ever bought and sold. That's not what I'm going to do. But it's going to accumulate over time as this YouTube channel gets older and older. And it's going to showcase all the positions that were in the portfolio as it was publicly disclosed. Okay, so That's just a little bit of a tidbit there. So Brookfield Asset Management will stay there and it will just show us sold. Okay. And then you can, so someone newer can come into the channel and say, okay, well, they used to hold Brookfield Asset Management, and they can go back into these videos and kind of get an idea of maybe why I sold. And I addressed that in previous videos about portfolio updates, but let me know again down below. By the way, there is a live stream tonight at 7. You can ask me more direct questions there, right? That's what the live streams are for. The live streams are there for you guys to challenge me. If you guys want to challenge me, it's an open discourse, and, or, you know, just ask general questions or just hang out, you know. Markel Corporation, again, it's done really well. Loving Markel. Discovery has been switched over to sell from accumulating, or I think it was at hold actually, but now it's at selling. And the reason why is I'm thinking about upgrading, right? That's basically all I'm doing with that. And I'll get to that in a second. Activision Blizzard was already sold. There's a video about it on the day that I did sell, again, for transparency purposes. And it's, again, just there for, you know, people to see that I did hold it at once in the past and it's now gone. All right. And I kept the average cost. I keep the average costs there. So, you know, everyone can kind of have a frame of reference of when I was buying. And again, I made videos on Activision Blizzard of me buying and stuff and, you know, then selling. Dropbox is, you know, going better. Meta, I'm very disappointed, very sad with Meta. I really wanted them to get below 160 so I could start adding in a very serious manner. I got up the position. It's about 5.32 at the filming of today. I'm still buying, but just not as much, just not as heavy. Alphabet's my biggest position, my biggest single stock position. Cirrus Logic's doing its thing too. Not really doing much with Cirrus Logic. Boston Omaha doing great there. That's a newer position in the portfolio. Well, relatively new compared to some. 3M is very new. Gazprom is Gazprom. Gazprom's doing its thing. A bet on peace in the region, but for by far the riskiest position in the portfolio, and yet it's not in the speculative. That goes to show you a little bit of a mind gap or a mental gymnastics I'm doing. But regardless, Lukoil, I can't speak, is I was trying to buy it, but I wasn't able to get it executed. So I doubt if the markets open up again, if we achieve peace and stuff like that, I'll get it at that price, unfortunately. But yeah, Gazprom, I'm happy with the price there. Netflix is the newer position. Netflix is the upgrade, I think, for Discovery. And basically what's happening is I'm selling some Discovery, taking my profits there. Not all of them. All right. There's a point. I'm going to have both of them in the portfolio. I'm just selling some of Discovery, but also adding new capital into the portfolio. And I've already brought up Netflix at above. So these gains you're seeing for Netflix and Thor Industries just as easily tomorrow could be reversed. But we will see. Netflix is going to be a long-term core position. I want it to actually come down, and there will be a video that I have to make now that it's here. I do have to make a video on it, explaining my thought process as to why I ended up adding it and the like. And no, it has nothing to do with Bill Ackman. If some of you are thinking that, has absolutely zero things to do with Bill Ackman. I don't really care what that guy does. We all have differing opinions, right? Thor Industries, again, newer position, right? And that one also deserves some video. Okay, so, but I'm focusing more on your requests, right? So I want to mix it up. I don't want to only do the videos like of things I'm doing. This video kind of shows you a bird's eye view of what I'm doing. And then I will make videos more concentrated on those stocks as to what I like about them and the like. All right. So now looking at Overstock, Overstock's doing really good. Zillow's doing great. ASPS is doing very good. Again, that's a counter-cyclical trade or investment, kind of like an insurance play within my portfolio. BurgerFi is quite literally a fund stock. Barbecue Holdings is a fund/potential stock. It is of the fund stocks, the one that's performing really well. When I say fun, is quite literally the thesis is kind of garbage when you really break it down. And I'm quite aware of it being quite garbage. BurgerFi was able to add more to it, bring it down. Again, I invest like spare change into BurgerFi, and it's quite hilarious because I think it literally is designated as a penny stock now, based on the size of the company and the price it's standing at. But, you know, I do like their custard shakes. There's the thesis. I told you it was silly. Barbecue Holdings, a little bit more serious. If I had to manage between the two, it's Barbecue's a little more serious. Now, BurgerFi could execute. It could do really well in the future. It's just not something that, it's a difficult business. I'll start with that. And their ability to, I mean, I have to say it here because I'm not going to make a dedicated video to these micro caps for because I'm responsible and I don't want to do that. Yeah, what I will do is if the YouTube channel ever gets, yeah, you see, no, I don't even want to do that because I want to be able to do what I want to do financially speaking, and then I'll just have it here, but I won't really like highlight it, okay, so to speak. So I won't highlight it to the positive, I won't highlight it to the negative. And I think that's a fair standpoint, because if I was a YouTuber that was, you know, making positive videos about very small companies that I held, I would make it a policy that I wouldn't be allowed to sell until after a video would come out about me. Like, let's say I'm negative and I'm selling, so I'll make a video and then maybe like wait a day or something like that. But I don't want to have to do that either, because I want to be able to make a financial decision on the fly. So I won't. So what I'll do is I won't even address them. I'll keep that policy. I'm not going to even address them. They're not going to have a dedicated video. They're just going to show up here. If you see them, you see them, but I won't really be talking about it much unless, because I want to leave it a little bit open to you guys, unless one of you explicitly asks me a question regarding it during a live stream or something like that. All right. And you have to phrase your question carefully, because if it's a question surrounding along the lines of, should I be buying this? I'm not going to answer that. But if it's a business related question regarding the business, I will probably be inclined to answer that kind of question, because in that sense, I can provide value from some sort of lesson or opinion. All right. Now, going over to Alibaba. Alibaba is a very contentious position within the portfolio. I've addressed it multiple times. I own it for two reasons. Reason number one, that if it were to go down, and I talk bad about it because of the whole VIE structure, blah, blah, blah nonsense, that you guys won't feel that I'm relishing in it going down or anything like that, and I would suffer alongside you. But number two reason, because I'm not someone that just throws away money. I do really believe, and I have stated this in the past, my track record says so. Let's actually go here and kind of show you guys. So look at all these videos I made at this point. Going back here is kind of crazy. All right, but I already passed it. Where are you? Where is it? Where are you? Okay, there's these two where I do address that, but there's one more specifically where I go into it, and it's this one. We'll pause it here, whatever. 2022, the year of Baba. And in here, I explicitly talk much more in depth than in other videos that Alibaba or these Chinese VIEs are selling off because of sentiment reasons. And should the Chinese government, I do suspect that they would want to change that sentiment in the future, but I did not know when. I just thought it would be relatively soon. And it was a bold claim at the time, say 2022 was it, but it wasn't, you know, a stroke of genius. It was just connecting the dots that I think it's this year or next year, they have their conference, their whole conference, where Xi Jinping will try to consolidate power. So everything has to look good. And one of those ways of making things look good is if the numbers on your stocks look good, and then you get foreign capital investments. So you got to coddle the foreign capital investors. And that's basically what China's doing now. And they switched their tone from, I'm going to hammer down the businesses, to I'm going to be a little bit more friendly. And that was enough, right? And then again, I stated that in this video, the final video for now. And just so happens that the day after I posted that video, we get this one where I had to make another video and basically lied about not making another one. But essentially the very next day, the coddling had begun. Okay. And again, if you wanted to see the very original video, and I think I posted it in December, so we'd have to go quite a bit back. I think I already passed it. Here it is. So 3 months ago, this was the very last video. And then it was towards the end, I explained why I was buying and the very two reasons. This was the very first video. And this is the day I bought, or the day after is when I bought Alibaba and hadn't looked back. Okay. I think it was the day of or the day after. But, and I, like I said, well, I haven't said that here maybe, but I'll say it now. I will not buy more Alibaba regardless of what occurs. It goes down or up. I'm only going to be selling it to someone else at a higher price. But if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. I'm not going to sell. And again, because of reason number one. But reason number two is very strong. I really do believe in reason number two. Again, I'm on record, and that video is not going away. I'm on record stating that I believe the Chinese government will coddle foreign investors, and that will drive sentiment to the positive. We are seeing that now. Now, I'm again making now this video, making the same claim yet again, and this will stay on YouTube forever. Okay, so now let's take a look at the change that did occur, which is Tencent. Tencent, I've already discussed this in 2 live streams. One of them was my own live stream. The other one was Strongman Personal Finance's live stream, which go check his channel out. I'm on there every Sunday. He also produces very good content. So looking at Tencent, I did take the loss, did take the L there. And what I'm doing with that loss is I'm going to put it against some of my gains. And then I switched it over to Prosus, right? Prosus is down at the bottom. You can see it there. And again, Tencent will remain there forever. Even though it's sold, it will remain there forever. Just as, you know, I have the track record there for everyone to see. It's not going away. And what's going to happen is I switched it out for almost an equal type of asset, one that is heavily correlated with that asset. So I'm not technically out of Tencent. Like I said in the YouTube accountability, I replaced it with basically the same thing. And so I'm playing a little bit of a game here. We'll have to see if the IRS accepts me for doing this, but I do think it will work out well because they are different enough, in my opinion, that the IRS will say, yeah, that's fine. So also what I do believe, and this is connected to my previous, again, reason number 2, the coddling will have an outsized effect on foreign companies, right, that own assets in China. So if I am correct, Prosus, the gap in the value, the gap in the net asset value will close a little bit. There will always be a discount. Let me be very clear. Some people think that you're buying this for the closure of the discount. There will always be a discount for tax reasons, but that doesn't mean that the closure can shorten up a little bit, right? But there'll always be that discount. So I think that discount will shorten up a little bit, right? And with that shortening, you have the correlation of the asset value rising as the underlying asset that it's correlated with rises. But then also you can have a double up, not a double up, but an added factor that increases the price with the NAV discount actually shortening or closing up a little bit. So that's my thesis there. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Didn't sell anything technically. Now we have Greenwich Life Sciences. Again, not really going to talk about that one. Microcap, entirely speculative, cancer research and the like. Corsair Gaming, I'll let you guys tell me down in the comments below if I'm allowed to sell this. And I hold this for YouTube accountability because I had stated back when Corsair was much higher that if it reached a certain price, I would add. And because I said that live, not live, but I said that on video, I had to, do what I said, right? Which was buy some. And then I bought some. All right. But this is not a bad business. I don't want you to take what I'm saying and think, oh, I'm poo-pooing on Corsair. I don't think it's a bad business. It's not just something I would swing at, right? I've already made videos in the past showcasing my personal thesis, or not my personal thesis, but my personal buy prices, what I think the value is. And I had some pushback. I always receive pushback because I consider that one to be a YouTube stock. So it has a huge fan base. And also I think there are a lot of people who like their products, which I have nothing against their products. Again, I have a keyboard here that's a 6-year-old keyboard now with Corsair, and it's working fantastic. Not a single button is broken, anything like that. It's built well. Okay, it's good quality. The mice are a different story, but yes, the keyboard's been doing really well. All right. Going over to Egan, again, I won't really have a dedicated video for the same reasons, unfortunately, but I like the business. That's pretty much all I'll say there. It's performing decently well for now. Foot Locker is sold. It's gone. That was a fun stock, and I'm just taking profits. I have the video. Again, it's public record. So let's go check it out. Just so you guys know where to look, I'll make it a little bit easier. It was actually more recent because I know it was fairly recent. Yeah, there it is. So Foot Locker, it was published 3 weeks ago. So February 25th, 2022, I bought Foot Locker. I stated in that video towards the end why I was buying Foot Locker. And just to summarize it here, it was basically the model was saying it was dirt cheap. And I was like, all right, whatever. Let's take a crack at it. Let's do it for fun. And it turned out really well. Made 13.2% in a month. Could it go higher? Sure. But let's be honest of why I hold it. I don't actually hold it for the investment. It could be a good investment. Like I said in that video, it might not be. It's just not my circle of competence. It was a fun stock for me. And that's about it. So I have to be honest with myself. Remember what I always say, honesty with yourself is very important. You're only going to hurt yourself. So I'm honest with myself. I'm not invested in it. I don't believe in it enough to hold it for the longer term. Therefore, why would I hold it? That doesn't mean that it won't succeed. I want to be very clear. All right. Just because I say that doesn't mean that. All right. It's just, for me, it's more born out of ignorance that I say that. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it for the stocks, and I'll go over some of the legal aspects. So after consulting some subject matter experts on the legality of this, or if I could have any problems with this, essentially I'm completely allowed to show you guys this portfolio, and I should be fine. Again, it's free of charge, so there's not really an issue like that. And again, hopefully you guys all know, you guys should not be just like, oh, I'm going to copy everything he holds. That's entirely your decision. If you do that, it's not me. And one thing, this is kind of like basically like a 13F, a voluntary 13F filing. I don't have $100 million, so I don't have to file 13F. I don't own a fund or anything like that. But for this instance, it's basically like a voluntary 13F filing. Like the SEC would normally force you to do that, or like to be in compliance. But in this instance, it's completely voluntary. So that's how, you can kind of think about it. What is in the gray area is this stuff, even though there's no charge to see this. But this might be going away, unfortunately. And I hope you guys have to understand that it's better safe than sorry. As the YouTube channel grows, I have to be more and more careful as time goes by. And yeah, just this probably is going to go away either today or tomorrow. And you'll just have to watch the videos. The videos themselves will be testimonial, like basically of what I believe on something. And as long as I'm sharing it as an opinion, it's completely fine. It's just the nature of this is in the gray area. Okay. So then I don't want to be in the gray area. I kind of want to be in the, it's going to be fine area. So I hope you guys can appreciate that, but that's the unfortunateness of the legal system in the United States. It was designed, I guess, to try to protect retail investors, but it does so in really interesting ways. But yeah, regardless, this might be going away. This is, again, still fine. This is actually perhaps a more aggressive form of transparency than a traditional 13F filing, because the 13F filing will just show you basically this. It won't show you this. This is kind of like as if I was, just being a little bit more aggressive in that sense. I will say that, it is questionable whether or not in the future, like when if the channel gets really big, whether or not this will be here, just because I don't want, remember, my primary form of income is definitely and probably will never be YouTube. My investments are a big portion of my overall net worth and my income. So that kind of, if I am unfortunately going to be affected by showcasing in real time, which I have, by the way, if you guys ever ask, I have had this question asked in the past, so I will address it yet again here. I will not, and ever point in the future, be charging or providing a service in which case I showcase my trades in real time. Just to be very clear. All right. You know what? I'll keep that, because yeah, that's where I'll draw the line. I'm going to draw the line on showcasing my trades in real time. Because yes, that would be too much work for me. I don't want to do that. And I'm not a person who makes many moves. I just don't want to have to deal with that. And I don't even think that's going to be something that is technically allowed. But anyways, regardless, those are the updates. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and feel free to leave a like. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and come back to the channel. And we might be talking about a stock that you're looking into, and I can provide some insight that you might not have thought of. Okay, so that's normally what the videos are about. This video is one of those transparency videos, just a portfolio update, because some significant changes did occur. If you guys have any questions on anything, comment down below. If you guys have any direct questions that if you can make it to the live stream today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on what time I get off work and stuff, feel free to come over. And then again, if you have disagreements, I have some people that follow the channel more recently. Maybe I'm not trying to give away their name, but they have disagreements with me and they want to discuss. And the live streams are a perfect place to challenge someone live, right? Because it's not scripted or anything like that. So yeah, feel free to do that, and I'll see you guys then. If not, I hope you guys have a great day.